Hey, you are so sure that a movie's gonna flop that you spend 2 months binging over 200 episodes of a series you've heard good things about to see whether it should flop or not, while also trying to capture a niche but pretty chill audience by attempting to support said series, all because of the love you have for two people's voice work? Well, I did, and binging that was kinda terrible, because no matter how good a show is, watching 12 seasons in a short time is pretty awful. So, here's about 90% of what you need to know for the Bob's Burgers movie and why you should watch it. Starting off, Bob's Burgers is a story of how having a loving family, following your dreams, and never compromising on your vision no longer pays off as the American dream is dead as fuck. Which isn't helped by the fact that they're constantly being bothered by varying degrees of dickheads and weirdos that keep pretty good fodder and okay businessman Bob from running a legitimate business. Especially that shithead Jimmy Pesto across the street with his shitty pizza parlor, who somehow manages to be even more annoying than Hugo the health inspector, who constantly tries to close down Bob's Burgers while he sims after Linda, Bob's eccentric but loving wife and firm holder of the most annoying, second most annoying, third most annoying character on the show. It's not all bad though, as despite everything they do have their fair share of friends like Mort the Mortician, Mickey the former bank robber, Ron, Hugo's considerably cooler and more of a bro partner, and of course Teddy the handyman. He's Bob's best friend. On the flip side of things, we have the Belcher kids, Tina, who once again is awful, Gene, who likes music and whose lines I can never predict, and Louise, who is by far the best character on the show, because duh. Together they go on kid adventures like finding goats with two butts, or driving go-karts, or really anything of interest in wherever the hell these characters live. But most notably, they hang out at their school surrounded by terrible staff with a mix of both great and terrible classmates, especially that shithead Jimmy Pesto Jr., who's only ever interested in Tina when she's not around or when she's interested in other boys. Fuck these guys, but mostly Jimmy Pesto Sr., cause he's probably not gonna be around for a while. Hold it! You say to me, didn't you just say Tina was awful? Why do you care that she's being strung along by some dancing little shit? My friends, you've brought me to perhaps the greatest strength this show has. Tina is awful. Out of the main Belcher family, she is the one that causes the most issues the family has to deal with or makes them way worse. In this regard, she is one of the most frustrating characters in the show. But she isn't the most annoying character. She isn't even the worst character in terms of what she does. She's just a weird teenage girl who's way too focused on whatever dumb shit teenagers happen to be into at the time. And the family treats her just like that, like their awkward teenage daughter slash sister. And if you've seen any adult cartoon, you know why that's surprising. If you've seen more than one adult cartoon, then you've seen more than a few shared elements between them. Excessive violence and swearing, gross out humor, painful and overly indulgent celebrity appearances, sometimes aging very poorly, and most notably people, especially families, just being absolute shit to each other. That's not inherently bad, mind you, that shit makes me laugh too, but it feels like every adult cartoon has to have that, which makes those super sappy but beloved episodes a lot harder to take seriously when it just undoes it. It's hard not to feel annoyed when Jerry has an entire season worth of self-reflection and is still a dumb dickhead by the next season. What's cool about Bob's Burgers is that it does practically none of that shit, but it manages to avoid being an overly wholesome fluff piece. And while it doesn't go as big or absurd while sprinkling in those special deep moments once or twice a season, it still manages to be funny and creative just by having weird people around the Belchers. It's a lot more relatable in that way. It's kind of like comparing a story where old friends have to fight each other versus a story where you have to save the world. Yeah, one is bigger, but it doesn't necessarily make it better. And that's probably the best way to describe the show and the movie. It's a fun and simple show, and it's probably going to be a fun and simple movie. It's worth a watch. Maybe enough that you could pay to watch this movie and just sneak into the sequel of the movie that came out almost 40 years ago. Wait, Top Gun's main song was Danger Zone. And Danger Zone is constantly mentioned by Archer, even to the point of a whole parody. And Archer is played by H. John Benjamin. And H. John Benjamin also plays... Oh my god, was this just an inside joke? Also, age up the goddamn characters already. You're about to have 13 seasons. Do you want Simpsons? Because this is how you get Simpsons.